Pop quiz. When starting your wellness practice, what is the first part of marketing that you need to consider? Is it A, website, B, logo and branding, C, advertising, or D, none of the above? The answer, none of the above. And the reason is because the first thing to realize when it comes to marketing is that it's a system of communicating with people and bringing them into your practice. In other words, the first thing we need to do is discover a strategy, a marketing strategy. And to do that, we really need to feel confidence that we understand the process and not get overwhelmed by all the different platforms and all the different pieces of advice that you might hear, but really to simplify and to understand the essence of what makes a marketing strategy. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The first thing to realize when it comes to marketing is that there's really only 3 groups of people that we need to communicate with. The first one is people who are in your service area that would be interested in what you're offering, but who do not know you, have never heard of you, have never met you, have never been in your practice for a session or a class. Totally cold audience. The second group of people are people who have already been at your practice and have already benefited from your offerings. And the third group are people who follow you on social media. You might have their email address and send them newsletters and promotional emails and things like that, but they've never actually been in your practice. So we're going to essentially think about each group of people and communicate with them in a way that they can understand the offer and feel motivated to take it. For people who don't know us, what we need to do is actually intentionally design a journey for them to go through and call us or book us and get them to come to our practice. And so there's really just 2 ways to meet them at the starting point. They can either search for us. So let's say going to Google or ChatGPT and searching for a solution. Let's say somebody is looking for a yoga class. If they go to yoga class near me on Google, that is one way for them to find a local yoga class. And then the other way that people discover relevant brands is through media, either social media, it could be local news media, it could be a WhatsApp group of the community that they're a part of and somebody shares a link to your services, some kind of media where they were not expecting, they were not searching for you, but when they saw your offer, they were immediately interested and they clicked through. And in both cases, what we really want to do is get them to our website, because on the website, that's where they self-select and discover whether or not our practice is a good fit for them. So that's where they're going to learn about our different offerings, maybe our packages or pricing. They might read through our FAQs and make the decision to take action. Now, on the website itself, they're going to do one of 3 things, okay? One is that they're going to book an appointment. The second one is that they'll leave the website. And the third is that they'll opt in with their email. So they're not going to actually become a client, but they're interested in information we're going to send them. And so part of the website gives people an option or entices them to not just leave, even if they're not ready to make an appointment, giving them some kind of value proposition for their email address. And with that, we'll be able to send them promotions in the future. But now the question is, how do we actually get people to the website? Yes, there are these ways people find a website, but how do we make that work for us? Now, the truth is, for a lot of this, you might need to hire a developer, but I want you to feel empowered to know what you want from the developer. So the purposes of this discussion is to really know what questions to ask, what ultimately you're looking for that developer to provide for you. And so this is a top level discussion of what you need to have developed for you. Ultimately, the way people will find us or the way people will hear about us is by us having certain content on the internet, right? Our website is like an asset, a big billboard online that people can see, learn about, and take action on. So every bit of content that we have on the internet in some way contributes to that marketing system that we have. Now, there is a few different kinds of content. We know about Instagram and Facebook. That's one direction of content that you can create. Another way to think about content is like being interviewed on a podcast. That is something that's living on the internet. People will find, they'll listen to, and they can take action based on that. So there is a kind of creative content that allows people to learn about you. Another aspect of content is actually your website. We talk about different information that people will learn on your website and the richness of that information. So every page on the website gives you the ability to create content that will allow people to engage, learn. And so thinking about content on the internet as one aspect of your marketing and just understanding what content you want to create. Now that we have this, the question is, how do we actually get people to the website? And there's really just two ways to do it. One is organically, by just being visible online. That could be being visible on social media. That could be visible on Google search. You might have heard of SEO, getting to the top of Google. That is a strategy based on content. The content of your website, the content around your website all contributes to that web SEO, which allows people to find you in that way. Being very active, let's say on Instagram, and having a lot of followers and being engaged in the conversations on Instagram, meeting people where they're at. Super great way to get people to discover you and go to your website. The other way that you can do it is by essentially buying traffic, that is by advertising. And so think about Google ads, Facebook ads. Those are places where people will either be able to, like on Google, search for your keyword. Let's say you're a yoga studio, somebody might type in yoga studio near me. If you're bidding in their service area, they'll likely click on your link, go to your website, discover your offering, and make a choice about how to proceed. Hopefully they'll come to your classes. And if not, at least they'll leave their email address. A lot of this will involve hiring a professional, and it's important that you understand what it is you're asking them to deliver for you. And when it comes to whether it's your website, your SEO, your advertising, these are people that are going to be providing you with services, but you need to understand how it works within the whole system of your marketing strategy. I hope that this information empowers you to have those conversations with your developer, and so they can explain to you how your strategy is going to be satisfied by what they develop for you. The last part of the strategy is really that email component, because that's where you can really nurture your connections and your relationships. And so we talked about people who opted in to your email, but they didn't necessarily become clients. And then you also have people who are clients and you have their emails. By being creative and not being annoying, but really offering value, offering timely promotions, but in a way that is appreciated by your email contacts, many of those people that came through your website can be engaged over time through email. And so by really thinking about the journey of your clients from the top of that journey, the beginning of the journey till the end of the journey, that is what makes a great marketing strategy. Now, if any of this is interesting, if you have questions, if you want to ask me about your own client journey, I do have free office hours through our free community called Sage and Savvy. There's a link below. And if you have any questions that you want to bring up in the comments, I would love to engage with you over there as well. I hope that was valuable for you. And until next time, keep it awesome.